Kobe Bryant wasn't just one of the greatest players of all time. He was the ultimate competitor who lived for the big moments. Over a 20-year career, he gave us memories that defined an era of basketball. From clutch shots to unforgettable performances, these are the plays that made Kobe a legend.
Off to Kobe Bryant! And Kobe with his hands, and they do. Ball knocked away, stolen by Parker.
There it is.
Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside, it's good! It's good! Bryant dribbling, has to put it up with the buzzer. Banks it in! He banks in the three! And the Lakers win the game!
This is Kobe Bryant's top 10 moments. There are performances that basketball fans around the world remember. Then there are performances that history refuses to forget. On February 2, 2009, Kobe Bryant walked into Madison Square Garden, the NBA's most iconic arena, and didn't just light it up, he burned it to the ground. 61 points, no turnovers, 7 rebounds, 0 remorse, and a standing ovation from New York fans who had just watched their team get dismantled by a visiting assassin wearing purple and gold. There's something different about the Garden. Ask any NBA player, any coach, any fan, it just hits different. The lights are brighter, the crowd is much louder. When a star shows up, everyone pays attention. Kobe knew that. In fact, he loved that. The New York Knicks weren't title contenders. They were 21-28 at the time, but that didn't matter. The Garden was still the league's biggest stage, and on this night, Kobe put on a show for the ages. Kobe dropped 61 points in just 36 minutes. He went 19 of 31 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, and 20 of 20 from the free throw line. That's right, 20 for 20, automatic, ice cold. And he did it with 0 turnovers, something that's nearly unheard of in a game with that much volume. Think about that. He was handling the basketball, taking all the most difficult shots, and still playing mistake-free basketball. But stats alone can't explain the feeling. Kobe wasn't just hot, he was in total control. Every jab step, every fadeaway, every transition pull-up felt inevitable. The Knicks tried everything. Single coverage, traps, physicality, nothing worked. He read every defense like a book he'd already written. By 2009, Kobe was in his 13th NBA season. His body had been through wars, battles with the Spurs, the Kings, the Celtics, and Father Time himself. But that night, he looked like a finely tuned machine. He had the athleticism and bounce of his younger years and the strength of a seasoned vet. His footwork was amazing, his balance was perfect, and his lift on his jumper was smooth and consistent. He wasn't just faster or stronger than his defenders. He was sharper and more calculated. He knew when to attack the rim, when to rise over a hand in his face, and when to let the game come to him. It was like watching Bruce Lee with a basketball, fluid, explosive, controlled. There are hot streaks in basketball, and then there's what Kobe Bryant did in March 2007. In a league filled with elite scorers, Bryant went on a run so absurd, so outlandish, and so Kobe that it felt like watching a video game come to life. Over the course of 8 days, he dropped 65, 50, 60, and 50. 4 straight games with 50 or more points. Let's rewind the tape. The streak began at home against the Portland Trail Blazers. The Lakers were sliding, losers of 7 in a row. The vibes were off, the team looked flat. Enter Kobe. He didn't just stop the bleeding, he poured lava on the floor. With the Lakers down by double digits in the fourth quarter, Kobe flipped the switch and transformed into something terrifying. He scored 24 points in the fourth quarter alone, pulling LA into overtime, where he added 9 more. Final tally, 65 points on 23 of 39 shooting. Oh, and he hit 8 threes. This wasn't just a scoring outburst. This was Kobe announcing, "I'm not letting us lose, not tonight." The Lakers won 116-111 and the streak was born. 2 nights later, the Lakers hosted Kevin Garnett and the Timberwolves. Most players would cool off after a 65-point game. Not Kobe. He dropped 50 points on 17 of 35 shooting and made it look casual. The Timberwolves tried everything. Traps, doubles, early help. Nothing worked. Kobe picked them apart with footwork, fadeaways, and a jumper that refused to miss. At this point, it didn't feel like he was playing basketball. It felt like he was punishing teams. This one didn't need overtime. The Lakers won 109-102. Kobe was locked in. If defenders had started to hope the streak would end, Kobe made sure to crush that hope early in Memphis. He dropped 60 points, again with elite efficiency. 20 of 37 from the field, 16 of 18 from the line, and zero signs of slowing down. He was in complete control. The defense was helpless. It didn't matter who they sent or how they tried to double him. Kobe owned the floor. And here's the thing, it didn't even feel shocking anymore. That's how outrageous this run was. Fans were showing up expecting 50 and getting 60 instead. The Lakers won 121-119. That's 3 straight wins, 3 straight masterpieces. Back-to-back on the road, no problem. The next night, Kobe walked into New Orleans Arena and made history. Another 50-piece, this time on just 29 shots. Efficiency off the charts. The Hornets had no answers. The crowd roared every time Kobe touched the ball. Even opposing fans couldn't help but marvel. Final score, Lakers 111, Hornets 105. But if you thought that was great, just wait until you see what he did next. On December 20th, 2005, Kobe Bryant gave basketball fans one of the most jaw-dropping performances in NBA history, and he didn't even need the full game to do it. Against the Dallas Mavericks, Kobe exploded for 62 points in just 3 quarters of play. He sat out the entire 4th quarter. That's right, he scored more points in 36 minutes than the entire Mavericks team had through 3 quarters. It was the kind of performance that made you shake your head, laugh, and wonder how someone could be that good at putting the ball in the basket. Kobe scored in every way imaginable. Pull-up jumpers, post fades, drives to the rim, free throws, threes, and transition buckets. He had 15 in the first quarter, 17 in the second, and then dropped a ridiculous 30 points in the 3rd quarter alone. The Mavericks had no answers. What made it even crazier was how effortless he made it look. No celebrating, no over-the-top reactions, just business as usual. When asked why he didn't play the 4th quarter and go for 70 or even 80, Kobe simply said he was fine with it. Of course, just over a month later, he'd go on to score 81 against Toronto, but that night against Dallas showed just how locked in and dangerous Kobe could be when he got going. It wasn't about chasing stats, it was about setting a tone. Scoring 62 in 3 quarters wasn't just rare, it was unheard of, and it reminded everyone that when Kobe got into that zone, it didn't matter who was on the court, he was going to get his buckets. Game 4 of the 2000 NBA Finals wasn't supposed to be Kobe Bryant's moment, not yet at least. At just 21 years old and in his first Finals appearance, he was still seen as the kid playing next to Shaq, the dominant force carrying the Lakers. But that night in Indiana, everything changed. Early in the 4th quarter, Shaq fouled out with the game tied, and the Pacers' home crowd smelled blood. Without their MVP, the Lakers were expected to fold. Instead, Bryant stepped up and calmly took control. He hit tough mid-range jumpers, navigated through double teams, and knocked down clutch shots without flinching. In overtime, he scored crucial bucket after crucial bucket, including a memorable putback to seal the game and give the Lakers a 3-1 series lead. He finished with 28 points, many of them when it mattered most, silencing the crowd and proving that he wasn't just along for the ride, he was ready to take the wheel. That performance didn't just help win a game, it sent a message. Kobe was more than a sidekick, he was a future Finals MVP in the making. In 2009, Kobe Bryant finally got the monkey off his back. For years, people questioned whether he could win a championship without Shaquille O'Neal, the dominant big man who helped lead the Lakers to 3 straight titles in the early 2000s. After their messy breakup, the spotlight shifted solely to Kobe, and so did the pressure. It wasn't that he wasn't great. Everyone knew he could score with the best of them, but could he lead? Could he trust his teammates? Could he win when the game wasn't just about talent, but about getting everyone to the finish line together? That season, Kobe answered all of it. He had a strong supporting cast with Paul Gasol, Lamar Odom, Derek Fisher, and Andrew Bynum, but make no mistake, it was Kobe who set the tone every night. The Lakers cruised through the regular season with 65 wins and made it back to the finals after falling short the year before. Standing in their way was Dwight Howard's Orlando Magic, a team fresh off knocking out LeBron and the Cavaliers. But Kobe was locked in. He dominated from Game 1, dropping 40 points and running the offense like a veteran quarterback. Over the 5-game series, he averaged nearly 33 points and earned his first Finals MVP. You could see it in the way he celebrated, relieved but not over the top. This one was different. This was proof. No more "he needed Shaq" talk. This was Kobe's team, Kobe's title, and the start of a new chapter in his career that proved he could lead from the front and finish the job. While Kobe's on-court skills were elite, Kobe's off-the-court accomplishments post-retirement were just as impressive. Known around the world for his historic career in basketball, it was a surprise to many when he took home the Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film in 2018. The film, which Kobe wrote and narrated, was based on a poem he had penned about his love for basketball and his decision to retire from the sport. It was a raw, emotional piece that captured the essence of his journey as an athlete, one filled with passion, dedication, and an unmatched desire to be the best. What made the win even more significant was that it came from a medium that wasn't related to sports, showing the depth of Kobe's creativity and his ability to make an impact beyond the hardwood. The film was produced by the animation studio Granity Studios, a company Kobe founded to explore creative projects like this one. Dear Basketball was directed by Glenn Keane, a legend in the animation world, and scored by the talented composer John Williams, further adding to the weight of the project. When the Oscar was awarded, it wasn't just a celebration of a short film. It was proof that Mamba mentality wasn't just an on-court thing, it was a lifestyle. Shifting back to the court, in 2010, Kobe Bryant led the Los Angeles Lakers to their 16th NBA title, capping off a challenging season with one of the most hard-fought playoff runs of his career. After a regular season hindered by ups and downs, Los Angeles entered the playoffs with a point to prove. The Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Suns tested them in many ways, but it was the NBA Finals against their longtime rivals, the Boston Celtics, that would define this championship run. The series was gritty, physical, and filled with drama. The Celtics, who had handed the Lakers a bitter defeat in 2008, were back with a vengeance. Game 7 was set to be a battle of wills, and it was no different. Kobe, who'd been struggling with his shooting throughout the series, stepped up in the final moments. Despite shooting poorly for most of the game, he secured key rebounds and played his usual lockdown defense. His teammates like Paul Gasol and Ron Artest also played crucial roles, with Gasol stepping up on both ends of the floor and Artest hitting a critical three-pointer in the final minutes. When the final buzzer sounded and the Lakers emerged victorious, Kobe had earned his 5th championship and solidified his place among the all-time greats. Kobe Bryant's win at the 1997 NBA Slam Dunk Contest is one of those moments that often gets overshadowed by his larger-than-life career, but it's a significant part of his story. At just 18 years old, fresh off being drafted by the Charlotte Hornets before being traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, Kobe was already showcasing his talent beyond just scoring. The contest, held in Cleveland, was a chance for the young rookie to prove he belonged alongside some of the league's best dunkers. Kobe's first dunk, a smooth reverse alley-oop, got the crowd buzzing, but it was his second dunk that really set the tone. With a unique mix of finesse and flair, he soared through the air, making a perfectly timed 360-degree dunk that would become one of his signature moves. His mix of athleticism, creativity, and calmness under pressure wowed the judges and earned him a perfect 50 in the final round, securing him the win. What stood out the most, however, wasn't just his skill, it was his confidence. At 18, Kobe had the composure of a seasoned veteran, never seeming out of place or overwhelmed by the competition. His impressive win was a glimpse into the mindset that would carry him through his entire career. On January 22, 2006, Kobe Bryant gave basketball fans one of the most memorable performances in NBA history, scoring 81 points in a game against the Toronto Raptors. It was a night where everything seemed to fall into place for the Lakers star, as he put on a show that had the Staples Center buzzing. Kobe's scoring came in a variety of ways: mid-range jumpers, three-pointers, driving layups, and even free throws. It was a masterclass in offense, and the fact that he did it all in just 41 minutes of play made it even more impressive. The Lakers were trailing for much of the game, but Kobe single-handedly brought his team back into the contest, outscoring the entire Raptors team in the second half. When the buzzer finally sounded, Kobe had amassed 81 points, the second highest point total in NBA history, behind only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game. Kobe Bryant's final game was a night that will be remembered forever, not just for the history of the moment, but for how he went out on his own terms. On April 13, 2016, in front of a packed Staples Center, Kobe dropped 60 points against the Utah Jazz, leading the Lakers to a 101-96 victory. It was a special performance not only for him, but for the game of basketball. But what made that night even more special was the farewell speech Kobe gave post-game. Standing at the podium, he seemed both humbled and grateful as he addressed the fans who had supported him for 2 decades. He thanked them for all the love and the memories, expressing how much they'd meant to him. In his signature laid-back style, he joked about how his body couldn't handle the game anymore, but that he had always given his all. It was a moment of pure emotion, and you could see how much the fans loved and appreciated everything he had done. From the game itself to the post-game speech, you couldn't have written a career better than what Kobe put together.
I knew you was there, but just have the finish that we've had, And amazing how fast time goes, man.